Sometimes in life you get the opportunity to do something that you think will be really worthwhile. When I first visited Ghirass in 1997, I was very impressed by the ethos of the organisation and the charming and well-mannered children there. The centre had not been going for very long. The building was a little bit shabby. They had some very old computers and not a lot of library books. But there were a lot of enthusiastic children and a budding dance group. I had always felt that it would be a good idea for English children to have the opportunity to experience Arab culture, which is so rich and so different from the West. And for after all, how our children understand each other is going to affect all our lives in the future. I'd always felt that a link would be a good idea, and so when Ibtisam suggested that I try to make a link with a school in Bath, I thought that was ideal. So I went back and I made a link with St Gregory's Catholic College in my city. And shortly afterwards I heard that the dance group, Hakaya, had been invited to perform at Westminster Abbey, which was a great honour for them. Westminster Abbey being the most important church in England, where our poets like Shakespeare and our scientists and dignitaries are buried. But of course I knew that most of the dancers were living in refugee camps and unable to afford their airfares. So I thought I would see if I could raise the money and bring the group over. And to my surprise, with the help of a friend, we brought the first group over in 1998. The response from the English audiences were amazing. They loved the dancers. They'd never seen anything like it. And I realised for the first time that these children were presenting a very different image of Palestinians to the usual stereotype that we have in the media, and that this would undermine the negative images that we always see. So I set up the charity Bethlehem Link, and I decided that it should be non-political and have no religious affiliation. I thought that children should form their own opinions from their own experience, and I didn't want to exclude people who might have a different way of thinking. The exchanges benefited both groups of children, not only by the exchange of cultures, but enabled them to be ambassadors for their countries. And it was a nice opportunity for English children to show that they could be as hospitable as Arabs, and I hope that they would start to care about each other. The children were hosted by local schools with children the same age, in the hope that they would start to form a relationship and start to take an interest in each other's lives in the future. The visits usually took place every 2 years. That was how long it tended to take me to raise sufficient money. And the first visit cost £6,000 and the last one £25,000. The Palestinian children in the centre helped us raise money by illustrating cards and Christmas calendars. And it was through the sale of the calendars that someone from Leicester got in touch with me and asked if the children could come to Leicester for a weekend. And so we took them up for a weekend. The Leicester Friends of Bethlehem were mainly teachers who knew how to manage children, and they were very well organised. And the weekend went very well, and from then on, every visit they would host the children at some point. In 2009, however, I had to retire from Bethlehem Link for ill health, and I thought that would be the last of the visits. However, the Leicester Friends of Bethlehem then stepped in and raised the money for a visit in 2012. And then last year they brought a group of teachers to the UK women teachers who visited the local schools, and they're also raising money. Thank you. They're also raising money for a visit next year. The Bradford-on-Avon Friends of Palestine were formed last year, and they also raised enough funds to bring the dancers over to perform as part of a dance and sports festival with the Bethlehem Baines group. I've seen enormous changes over the years since my first visit 17 years ago, largely due to the efforts of Ibtisam and her wonderful team. They started off by redecorating the centre, improving the building, restocking the computer room. The library is very well stocked with books. They started the outreach and the remedial teaching centre for the children, and wonderful garden and a new area on the roof. I've always felt that Ibtisam and I were able to trust each other to make the right decisions as far as we were able to within our knowledge, to make the right decisions to keep the children safe and for the best decisions to make with regards to the projects within our own cultures. So it's been a very rewarding time for me, and I felt it's been a great privilege to be able to contribute something to this wonderful centre. And it's also given me some wonderful friends, which I value for life. Thank you.